Hello and welcome. Today I want to share how I make some ATCs, artist trading cards and coins. We'll get to the coins in a minute. If you haven't made artist trading cards, they are 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. They are also very similar in size to a playing card, which you can use as a base if you don't have any ATCs cut out already. You can cut out your own, of course, out of cardstock or even some cardboard, things like that, to use as a base. I'm showing you some cards I made in the past. I decorated some playing cards. And so to show you how you can use a playing card. And then the project I'm making is the card right there with the flowers. I'm just going to show you how easily you can make something like this. If you are based outside of the US, the size of the ATCs is 6.35 centimeters by 8.89 centimeters. So I have these ATC bases that I bought a while ago because I was in a trading group for a while. So I decided to use those because it's easier. But like I said, you can cut your own out of cardboard, packaging, anything like that, cardstock, and you can glue pieces together to make them more sturdy, which is also what I'm doing. So I have these little pieces of Tim Holtz scrapbook paper, and I actually had these on my desk from another project I was working on, so I decided to use them for this project. And I have some beautiful flowers that I've picked out that I think work nicely with the background. So as you can see, I also have some postage stamps, and I'm trying to figure out where to put that postage stamp, trying it every which way. I finally decide, and I glue it on. So you can see once I glue on the scrapbook paper, it makes kind of an instant background. And then I glue on the flowers, and you can pretty much stop there, but I decided to do some stamping too. So you'll see that as I do add the stamping and then some words to my card. You don't have to add words, but I like to do that. So while you're watching this, I'm going to talk about the Mixed Media Emporium Facebook group. This is I have a new prompt this week, and the prompt is called, the general prompt for the week is called Tools and Techniques. I decided that the fourth week of the month for the group, I will highlight either an art tool or technique. So this one is obviously artist trading cards and coins. So this is a fun one to do. We're not trading, but hopefully, I hope that you'll give this a try and make some cards. Some of you may already be in a trading group, and that's fine. I believe there are Facebook groups where you can trade also. I don't belong to any, so I can't give any information about that. So as you can see, I am adding the words, and then I'm pretty much done with that card. I'm going to add some scrapbook paper to the back to make the back look nice. A lot of people add, instead of decorating the back, they add information about their themselves to the back of the card. Now, I did another card, two other cards there. Another card, sorry. I'm showing you the scrapbook paper I used. If you have those Tim Holtz scrapbook paper pads, they have those papers in the back with the very small images or backgrounds, and I usually don't even know what to do with them, so I'm happy that I found something I can use them on. So back to my previous ramble, I made a total of 3 cards. I was showing you those before. Now I'm going to show you some cards I made in a more mixed media style. I decided to use some of my gel prints because I have a lot of them. This is a gel print on a piece of deli paper that I'm using, and I had these beautiful images, the owl images that I've had for a very long time waiting to use them on something, and this is the perfect project for them, I think. So before I glue that image on, though, I wanted to add some contrast to the background because, as you can see there, the owl kind of looks a little bit lost on the busy sort of background. So you'll see, I think, when I add the book page, it really helps for the main focal image, which is the owl, to stand out a little bit more. So I'm cutting that out. I could have used smaller scissors, but I just had my big scissors right there. So I kept going with my large scissors, and I'm just tearing some paper, some book page paper to add there in the background. And right away, I think it looks great. So I'm going to glue it down and keep moving forward. That doesn't always work out that way, but this one did. To make these cards and coins, I really went back and forth between my glue stick and my wet glue, just for a couple of reasons. And sometimes it's just because the wet glue is sometimes quicker and easier to do when I'm recording a video. So I just use them interchangeably whenever, whatever just I want to grab and use. So I decided I was going to use the wet glue, but then I decided, no, I'll use the glue stick to show you that you can use either one, and it works fine. And the glue stick works better on thinner paper, to be honest, but it can work on thicker paper too if you have a good quality glue stick. So there's pretty much my card, but I decided I wanted to add some stamping to this background too. I don't know that it absolutely needed it, but I thought it would add a nice touch. So I am stamping there with a little sort of tree branch, and I think that adds a nice touch. So I'm happy with that. Again, because I'm not trading, I'm going to put some pretty paper onto the back, and I'm going to make a couple more of those trading cards that I'm showing you what I'm doing. So there are my cards, and I am edging the edges with brown distress ink because I really like that look. I really like using the dark brown. Sometimes I use black, but I use the brown the majority of the time, and I think that makes a nice sort of frame for my cards. So now I'm going to show you how I make some artist trading coins. These are 2.5 inches in diameter, and they are those are I made with a napkin background. The rest are just papers, different sorts of papers and images that I cut out and glued on. I love the way those turned out. I made those several years ago. So I'm going to show you how I made these. Basically, I use this template. If you have a punch that's 2.5 inches, you can use that. But I traced the 2.5 inch circle onto some cereal packaging and cut those out, and then also cut out some paper circles, as you can see, and then I'm going to glue some pretty paper and images to the front, and then some nice paper onto the back to make my cards. And I have pulled out, for this entire project, I've pulled out those flowers, I've pulled out some birds that I cut out from a bird book, and some butterflies, and some of those postage stamps, and I've put all these things around me. I find that helps me to create things instead of searching my entire room and all my stuff for things to use. I have things right there that I can use, and it usually works well for me. So I'm going to use, in this case, for the background, I'll use some sheet music instead of the book page. You can use book page too. You can really use anything you want. And I'm going to glue that on again because it's just a lot quicker and easier. I'll use the wet glue, and then I will first I'm trying to decide. Even though I have a few things pulled out, it still takes me quite a while to figure out what in the world I'm going to use. And I thought I wanted to use birds on these, but in retrospect, looking at this, I could have used a lot of these things that I'm trying look fine, but in the moment, I just wasn't happy with anything I was trying. I ended up using a butterfly, which you will see momentarily. And, that's how it goes when you're recording. It's sometimes I'm going forward quickly and not taking time to really look at things and figure out exactly what I want to do. But as I said, it all works out fine, and sometimes it's better to just keep moving and not overthink things too. So you can see there my back and forth and back and forth, and even the sheet music. I'm trying to figure out what kind of sheet music I want to use, which side of the music paper I want to use. So I'm going to use my glue. I'm even thinking, should I do it that way? No, I'm going to do it the way I originally thought would work out. And I'm going to stick that down, trim it up, and then glue on the butterfly. So that way, that background's pretty busy, so that way the butterfly stands out better. And I'm switching to the wet glue because it's just quicker for the butterfly than to use my glue stick. I keep putting the pin back in that glue because it really dries quickly if you leave it open for too long. I thought this background needed a little something, and I decided to use a flower. So you can see it's a 2-part flower. I'm going to take the top part off and use that. And fortunately, I was able to pull up the butterfly so that I could put the flower under a little bit. Usually that glue dries really, really fast. I think because it's cold right now, it didn't dry as fast. I don't know. That's just my thought. And so I glued that part on and then again trimmed it. And then jumping ahead, I'm going to show you how I wanted to also put something at the top there. You can see that looks a little bare. And so I debated. I thought I would use a postage stamp, and I tried a bunch of different stamps. So I'm going to spare you all of that. And jump ahead in a second and show you that I ended up just using another yellow flower. There you go. Kind of did the same thing with that one. And I think that looks really nice. I'm just going to trim that up, and then what else? I'm going to add that little blingy thing. I call them bling. I don't know the real name, but I like using those on these coins, especially for some reason. I think they add a nice touch and some words, and then that one is pretty much done. I am going to put some decorative paper on the back as well. And I have to debate about the paper that I'm going to use on the back and try different ones and think about it, but I eventually just ended up using that one because I didn't see anything I liked better. I just glued that onto the back, and then I like to, on these, I think because they're thicker, I like to use black paint to edge around them instead of the ink. I think it looks better. It's darker. Also, my circles are kind of wonky. You can probably see there. I have to trim that down a bit. And I can't, cut straight. Certainly not a circle. So I think the black paint also hides the wonkiness and the unevenness of these a little bit. And you'll see that in a minute how I add that. And I think it adds a really nice touch to my coins. You could do those on the cards too. I just, the cards were much straighter and cut straighter. So there I am edging those, and I make 2 other coins because people make these usually in sets of 3 or 4 or 6, something like that. And as I said, when they trade, but I don't know, I like to make sets of 3 for whatever reason. So if you are a member of the Facebook group, I hope you'll try this prompt this week. And if you're not a member and you'd like to join, I will leave the link to the group below, but please, please, please answer all the questions, or your request to join will be declined, unfortunately. So I'm just showing you my coins and the backs of those, my cards, just doing a little mini wrap up here of all my pieces. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.